A very good afternoon, one and all. Warm welcome to all the participants on the third day of 5 days faculty development program come workshop on life skill and soft skill for excellent at workplace. Today, we have the third day of our faculty development program, and it will be an honor to have Professor Dr. Raju Agarwal, sir, the Director of Subodh Management Institute with us, all the esteemed faculty members and dear participants. Today, the third day, we have an honorable speaker, Ms. Stuti Kapoor from Accenture as a manager. With 14 years of experience in the IT industry, Stuti Arora Kapoor brings a unique blend of technique expertise, people-centric leadership, and social impact. Holding an engineering degree and a postgraduate diploma in human resources, she combines analytical thinking with a deep understanding of human behavior and edge that enhancing the both project delivery and team engagement. A specialist in SAP, BW on HANA, Stuti is currently working on automation of Accenture sustainability report using Workgiver, contributing to streamline ESG reporting and data transparency. Beyond her core role, she worked as the CSR lead at Accenture, where she designed and drive impactful community programs. Her passion for mental being is reflected in her role as a mental wellness advocate, where her foster inclusive, empathic space in the workplace, recognized for her empathy, accountability, and lifelong learning mindset. Stuti consistently delivers excellent driving both business outcome and societal progress. Welcome, Stuti. It's been an honor. On the behalf of Subodh Management Institute, I request to just take charge for the session. But before that, stay tuned for a small break. Admin, can I have the ad, please?
और एमबीए के लिए सुबोध मैनेजमेंट से बेहतर कोई इंस्टीट्यूट नहीं है। एक्सपीरियंस से कह रहा हूँ,
जहाँ प्लेसमेंट गारंटी, स्कॉलरशिप, सेफ एंड हेल्दी एनवायरनमेंट के साथ आपको मिलेगा रीजनेबल फीस में क्वालिटी एजुकेशन का भरोसा। सुबोध मैनेजमेंट इंस्टीट्यूट, मैनेज बाय सुबोध शिक्षा समिति एट शिप्रापट मानसरोवर। फॉर एडमिशन कॉल 9829844446।
Thank you so much. And again, warm welcome, Stuti. The screen is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Parul. Thank you. Before I start, I would like to thank SS Jain Subodh Management Institute and Professor Dr. Raju Agarwal for having me here. Thank you. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Hi, all. I welcome you all to the day 3 of the workshop. Hope you're having a great time. I would request if all of you can come on screen so that I know who all I'm talking to. So it should not be like I'm talking to the screen. Okay, so maybe I'll give you 10 seconds and I would love to see all of you on screen. Great, great to have you all. Okay, so I will make it a very interactive session. I would want all of you to pitch in your, your experiences, share how you've gone through work-life balance. I'm sure each one of you have studied about it, talked about it, taught to your students about it, but still sometimes in the hustle bustle of our life, we do not get a chance to think of where we are, what we are doing, how we are spending the time that we have. So I think this could be a introspective session, I would say. Nothing very deep we'll talk about, not a restrictive session which does not allow you to interact, or one-on-one talk is happening and then nobody is listening. So we are from very different fields. I know you're all from academics and I am from corporate. So we might have different struggles managing our work-life balance, but I would share mine and I would request all of you to share your experiences and how did you tackle those situations. So then if there are some younger faculty members or somebody who's still in that phase of their life, maybe they can get a hands-on knowledge and they can use that, uh, apply that in their day-to-day life. Okay, so just one quote which I find, and if I feel it, like I keep reminding it to myself, is never get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. So we get too busy just running, getting up in the morning, making lunch boxes for our kids, getting them ready, sending them to school, rushing for the for your job, doing end to end, running the entire day, coming back home, then managing the households. Be it a, I'm talking as a female, but I know the life is equally difficult for the male counterparts as well. They also have a certain set of responsibilities, which I know if you talk about it, it will be, better understood of, and people around you will understand and, use your experience. So, but do you agree that sometimes in our lives we forget living while we were focusing on just, earning our livings? Can I have some responses maybe in the chat? Okay. Okay, so before we start, I would want you to log into an app called menti.com. I'll maybe paste in the link in the chat and I'll also have it on the screen here. So you just have to go type in menti.com on your browsers and use this code. So this is a place where you can type in the answers of your questions and this stays anonymous. So if you're typing in a chat, it might, if you have some leadership here listening, you might not, or you might hesitate to type in. But if you want to go in and be anonymous, you can just use this app. I would request all of you to please sign in. Join at menti.com. Use the code 21863145. If you want, I can also type in here. So then it's easier. Okay, I see some people already here. Others, I'll just give you maybe 10 more seconds. Just open a browser, type in menti.com and enter the code 21863145. Okay. If you're facing any issues, just let me know. But otherwise, whoever has logged in already, I would just try and understand what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear work-life balance. What does this term make you think about? Like, what is work-life balance? Okay, can I have some responses, please? Time management, okay. So all your answers here are anonymous. I do not know who's typing in, so you can be sure of the confidentiality. Dedication, okay. Work-life balance, dedication, burnout, great. Workload division, correct. Delegation of the work, perfect. Anything else that comes to your mind when you think about work-life balance? Mental well-being, great, great point. Mm-hmm. Come on, everybody. So I see a lot of people here in the conference and at least one response from each one of you. The working environment, yes, definitely yes. Plays an important role in helping you maintain your work-life balance. Organizational culture, perfect. Great. Anything else? Flexibility, yes, in the kind of work you do, in the timings. Definitely yes. Working hours, yes. So flexibility in working hours or a longer, shorter duration of the time. Work centrality. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, last 5 seconds more if anybody wants to put in something. Okay, so I think this covers in the most of the points that I wanted to talk about. Work-life balance could be talking about how in a day or in a week you manage your work, your personal life, and like your professional, personal, and I count it as a spiritual self also. So I take it as I divide myself or my day into three different parts, which is like one would be something that I do for my work. The second could be something that I do for my family. And the third could be that I do for myself. Okay. So I think all three of them are important. And all three of them, giving time to each one of them in a day might be difficult on certain days. But then making sure that, okay, if I'm not able to do it in one day, everything, because I know, okay, I have certain meetings lined up today, or, my child has a exam tomorrow. So I might have to give them a little more time, or I have some guests coming in at my place. So, again, there could be a little more involvement in the house, and I might not be able to give myself that much of time. But then again, if not today, maybe tomorrow morning I'm doing that. Or in this week, I make sure that I have one day or a certain set of hours fixed for myself, where I'm not dealing with all these things and just focusing on myself. And yes, like somebody just pinged in, maintaining that harmony between all three aspects of my life. So this is what work life balance means for me. Could be different for everybody. And also some people say that there could be nothing, work life balance jaisa kuch hota hi nahi hai. That can never be achieved. I agree to them too. 100% on every day if you count, maybe not. But if you see it on a longer stretch, I am a half marathon runner, so I would not want you to see life as a sprint. Just see it in a bigger picture, a longer, maybe a entire week or a month. Sometimes, your weeks also get, if you have some event happening in your college, or, if there's some meeting or some conference coming up, maybe your entire week goes in, at your professional front. But then making sure that you're compensating it off on the weekends with your family, with yourself is important. So do not think of it as a small, just a one day kind of a thing, but at a longer stretch, okay, am I fine? Keep asking that questions to yourself. Everybody wants to do their best at their work. They because there's a process of judgment happening. Somebody has to judge them. Somebody has to appraise them. There's a promotion process that's there. That is there, right? But then the second thing comes in is your family. So you'll always want to give enough time to your spouse, enough time to your parents, in-laws, your children, everybody around you, trying to make them happy. And in this process, in this entire process, the only person left out is you yourself. And sometimes when we talk in those terms, it is also called as selfishness, which I call it as self-care. And I think that is important, because if I don't take care of myself, I might not be able to take care of others. So do you think that's important? Self-care? Or is it selfishness if I give that time to myself? I mean, it's perfectly fine if whatever you want to term it as, but that's what I think of. Okay, so how many of you feel you currently have a good work-life balance? You can rate it as like, yes, I completely, everything is in control. Or sometimes it is, I find things in control, but sometimes it's like off. Rarely, I'm always hustling with my life. I'm not able to make time for what I love to do. Or it's like never, it's always something or the other happening. And then I feel my life is completely out of control, no work-life balance. Okay. So I see responses coming in. Sometimes, rarely, yes, completely. And you're not being judged here. So please feel free to just vote in. Okay, great. Great. I see some responses which say never as well. Okay, so I think this session is for you. All right. I see more of sometimes, which is actually good. I think you cannot be 100% of work-life balance each day, like I said. So it will be something or the other happening in the life, and that's life. And if I would say if you're able to say that, okay, sometimes I feel I'm in charge of myself and my life, my personal, professional, spiritual self is going fine, and I'm happy what I'm doing, then I think it's perfectly good. Some days will definitely be, God, what's happening? I don't know. Okay, maybe 5 more seconds for responses. I see some good responses, but yeah, if somebody's still thinking and just voting. Okay. Sometimes I think it's good, but if yes, completely, then perfect. You're at a great space. Rarely and never, maybe you can work a little bit of, on time management, on certain skills, and then you can be on the top two levels. So then I think we should be good. Okay. So let's start. So let's define work-life balance. I think you've made my job easier. You've already defined it in a very detailed way, and I think covered almost all aspects of it. So it is something called, like I talked about, it's not one day thing that, okay, today I will do everything. Today I will do my yoga also. I'll go for a run also. I make sure my children are, um nicely dressed, they're gone to school, they're done with their, I'm cooking a nice meal for them, packing a fancy lunchbox for them. My husband is very happy with a 7 course of meal served to him. So that will not happen on each and every day. That could happen on some special days, but then do not expect all of this happening on one single day. And if you're trying to do that, then that is not easy, and you will never be able to make everybody happy. Okay. So it is kind of a sustainable integration. Please focus on the word sustainable. That's long lasting. Work life balance isn't about perfect equality, it's about sustainable integration. It's about integrating work and life in a way that feels right for you. It feels right for you. It is not a definition which somebody can give you that, okay, this is the standard of work life balance and just go and achieve it. Somebody can have a messier home but is happy, satisfied reading a book. But somebody like me will not be able to read a book if my house is in a mess. So I will first go and clean it up, and then maybe I'm so tired that as soon as I start reading my book, I would just fell off to sleep. Happens. That's just perfectly fine. But then what was important for me, the cleanliness was important for me, so I chose that. But if somebody reading is important, somebody's loves reading and gets that happiness from there and is able to do that, that is also perfectly fine. No judgments there, right? So my life, my balance, I have to figure out what is important for me on that specific day. Maybe someday I also feel like, okay, let the house be in the mess and I've not been able to read a book since, like, maybe 10 days, and I want to do it today. Why not? It's my definition. There's no bar set to it which I have to achieve. Again, then there are individual values for it, like I was talking about. So it can differ from person to person. If there is a person, I've tried to give example from the university perspective. So if there's somebody who wants to put in more of time teaching, somebody could be happier investing more time into admin tasks, somebody could be into research. Whatever gives you happiness, you can divide your time accordingly and achieve that balance. So some of the unique challenges from a faculty perspective that I could think about was heavy workload. So you guys are involved in teaching, research, then some community services, some administrative tasks, then there are some duties like election duty and everything that comes up. Some of you might be involved there. Then you have a tenure pressure because children will have their exam at a certain time. The date is fixed. You have to finish your curriculum. Then there are uncertain, things coming in like some vacation, some holiday, or there is a time change sudden, because of the heat wave, because of the cold wave, the time changes, there is COVID. So you have to completely switch on to online medium which you're not very comfortable with. So you might have different pressures at different point in your life. Then there are blurred boundaries. I think considering, all digital world, the boundaries are completely blurred. We are already like online, I think, almost all of the time. Any child can reach you on your phone and, ma'am, I have this problem, or sir, I'm dealing with this, what should I do? And there are, sometimes very there's a friend of mine who's a psychologist, and she tries to set a boundary by keeping her phone on a silent mode after 10 p.m. But then she realized that, sometimes some children, when they're having suicidal tendencies, there was somebody who was trying to reach her on her phone. And then she said, no, I think that was important, because that call, I had to attend that call, and it was important. What if I would have missed that call? I would have blamed that on myself the entire life, you know so those boundaries are very blurred now. But then there has to be some boundary which you will have to set in for yourself. What is important to you. You will have to communicate to the people around you, be it your work, be it at your personal level, anywhere, anybody. You will have to make sure that you clarify that, okay, I am not going to be available from 8 to 9 in the morning, because that is my workout time, or my yoga class, or I go for a walk, I leave my phone at home, so do not expect calling me. you know Such kind of boundaries, there could be unset boundaries also, could be set boundaries also. You can just make that thing very clear that, okay, no, I will not uh, you know give this time to anybody else, or to any other task, be it whatever happens. I'm not going to share this time with anybody else. So some priorities in your life, you should be very clear, uh, considering your health, your personal time with your children, your family, which should not be compensated at a stretch. Like I would say 90-95% you should try not compensating. But in some situations like these, like the one I talked about with a friend who's a psychologist, definitely, yes, we should be available for and ready for such conditions as well. you know and this happens like for my job. If I talk about, we have clients sitting across the globe. We have no time boundaries, but we decide on when we have to work. So if somebody tells me that, okay, you have a call today from 9 to 11 p.m. At night, I make sure that those 2 hours I compensate during the day. I'm not, I take that time off, I put it officially on my Teams or my Outlook that I will be away for those 2 hours, because I have a call in the late evening. So I make sure whatever task I had to do in those 2 hours, making my child ready for tomorrow morning preps, everything, I will do it in advance, keep them ready, so that when I'm sitting for that call, I'm like completely into the client call and not thinking about, okay, I should have done this right now. I should have, I could have made my child pack his bag, or, make his shoes or whatever, so that I can make sure that I'm using those 2 hours before and fixing things up. So that is a kind of balance that I'm talking about. So if you know that there's something coming up at your college, could be an event or anything, you are well prepared in advance that, okay, if next Saturday, Sunday, I will have to be in my college because there's some event, I can make sure that, okay, I give in an extra time to my child. If she's an exam on Monday, maybe I give her extra time. If there's something else planned in the next week, coming week, somebody's birthday, some anniversaries, anything, I have to go buy gifts, could be anything. I'm just giving you examples. So I make sure I'm prepping that up in the beginning, before, in the previous week, so then it's easier for me the next week. Otherwise, you'll find yourself in, a mess that, okay, what do I do now? There's no time for things happening. So how does that imbalance hamper us? Physical health, definitely yes. Increased risk of cardiovascular issues and weakened immunities. So I think all of us must have felt this at certain point of in our time, right? You start feeling feverish, you feel like high blood pressure, or you feel like you can't sleep. Some people have like insomnia kind of an issue if they're like too much into a mess, they find things out of control, they're not able to sleep well. So all this is directly, indirectly related to your mental health. So if you're not able to achieve that work life balance, to, when you're not able to say yes completely, or sometimes then most of the times you will find yourself struggling with these issues. So mental health, higher rates of anxiety, depression, burnouts, like somebody already said in the Mentimeter, will impact your well-being definitely. Then professional consequences, decreased research output and poor teaching evaluation, hindered career, no promotions. You'll not feel happy thinking of switching your job, moving to something else. List is on. So this is something very important, but I assume most of us are aware about it. Maybe somebody new who's joined in would have, could be something new, but otherwise most of us are aware about it, but then we forget when we are in that rat race. So this could be a time to introspect, see where you are on that scale. If not, what you can apply to your day-to-day life to make it simpler and easier and have the right balance. If there are any questions, feel free to unmute because I'm not able to see the participant list if you've raised your hand or something. So just feel free to unmute and ask. Okay. So like somebody also again in the Mentimeter said, time management is an important part of the work-life balance. So yes, definitely if you're able to manage our time perfectly, again, perfection will change for each one of us. But yeah, to the maximum, if we can optimize our time, then I think the balance could be achieved to a great extent. So there are some techniques. I'm not sure if you're aware about it. Maybe I'll just consider that you're not, and I'll talk about them a little more. So the most important thing is Eisenhower matrix, which helps you prioritize your task. So suppose today I have this workshop, I have a important town hall in the evening, I have 2 hours of my meeting. So I know these things cannot be shifted, These are like things on my priority list. I have to do them today. Okay. But they could be small things which are like could be delayed to tomorrow, I would say, or just goes lower down in my priority list so that if I'm not able to achieve them, I can just pick them up and move them to the next day. Okay. So that, and again, the next day I will have a refreshed priority list, which might or might not again have those leftover tasks which I leave today. They might be, if something is having a deadline for day after tomorrow, then yes, tomorrow they'll be on my highest priority. So this is how, this makes it easier so that this is what I try and follow when I start my work. I just have a list of the to do things for the day, and I try, setting that list in my priority order and, just check mark whatever is done. Oh, yeah, the other is time blocking. So sometimes what happens is there are, uh, children will reach out to you, you start talking to them, and then you miss a track of time. So this generally happens. I get a ping, somebody's asking me something, and then I forget what was on my priority list, and I'm not able to finish that off, which results in, stretching my time after my work schedule and spending a little more time there. So what I prefer doing is I will ask that person, okay, if it is not very urgent, can you please block my calendars? So we in an IT industry, I don't know how it works there, but in an IT industry, we have a Outlook calendar which can be shared with everybody. Like if somebody wants to see my time, they'll have a blog time when they can see the blog time in my calendar, and I'm sure that the Outlook must be available for all of you as well. So you can ask the person to just block your time, and then like when you're setting up, like somebody has blocked your time from tomorrow from 3 to 4, or suppose if I have to take this call today from 2 to 3, I have already blocked this time prior. So now nobody else gets that opportunity to come and block my time in the Outlook. And if somebody does, I have option to decline and say that, okay, this is a conflict and I might not be able to join, please reschedule. So that is something, rather than responding to anything at the moment, at the right time, at the exact same time, you can just ask them to block a time and then get back to it. And you can take a context also, maybe, so that you also get some time to think about it and how to deal with that situation the right way. Maybe sometimes some student is coming to you with some personal issues or something, so you just take a gist of it. And if you feel it is not very urgent, if something is not impacting that child, and you can just politely say, can we connect after an hour? Is that okay? Because I have something on my priority list. Can you come back after an hour? And I don't think that should be much of an issue. But sometimes what happens is we are like on to everything at the same time, that okay, I'm doing this also, somebody's coming, talking to them also, which 100% attention we're not able to give in there. So the person is also not happy, making when I'm doing my research paper or something, making some errors here, updating the attendance list, something goes wrong there. So multitasking is first of all a big no-no. And rather than that, I would prefer blocking my time. Okay, if I have to update the attendance sheets, okay, this is the time. I have to work on my research paper, this is the time. I have a time blocked for this specific child. He wants to meet me. Okay. I have a meeting. Okay, I have this time blocked. So that is how you can plan your day, and it really, really helps. So then your brain is also prepared for that switch that happens. And like once your day is ended, you will not feel like, okay, did I miss something? Sometimes that happens, right? Once you're returning back home from your work, you feel like, did I miss something? Something had to be done today. Was it there was something important? I just left it. So once you have that list or your calendar's blocked, this becomes very easier for you to be confident while you're going back home. And once you're home, you can just completely switch on your hat and be, not a professor or a teacher, and be a parent or a spouse completely. So your half brain is not still trying to fetch something that you missed. Then delegation. So somebody mentioned this point as well. So that is why I said you've made my work very easy. So delegation, sometimes some people, I include myself also in that list, have a tendency to, do everything by their own. So I feel like if I'm not doing this task on my own, it can't be perfect, which is not right. I cannot do each and everything on my own. I can't, be it at work, be it at a personal front. So if I try to delegate it to somebody, try teaching that person that, okay, this is how I want it to be done. You can definitely add in your personal flavor if, if it has some innovation perspective or some, some of that scope left, then definitely yes. Otherwise, just teach them, like if you have a cook and you know that, okay, there's this kind of food that my family eats, so then there's not a lot of scope for innovation. Just tell them, okay, you have to do this step, and we are sorted. But delegating it to somebody else and not thinking that, okay, if I don't do it, then what will my children have? Or if I don't teach my one important thing also that comes in is sometimes the senior faculty or the senior members of a team feel like, if I teach this to my juniors, then I will lose an importance. I'm sure each one of you must have felt that. But then my point is, if you do not teach that important task to your subordinate, they will never be able to grow. And then how will you grow to a next level? So when you're teaching something to your subordinate, do not feel like, you will lose your importance, but feel like, okay, this I've done for a long time. Let somebody else take this off, and I will invest my time in something else, something, learning something new. Could be an admin task, could be something into research, whatever. But if you restrict yourself from not delegating the task, you will feel stuck at, after a certain point in time. So the only thing is, we should try and delegate enough tasks to our subordinates and make sure that we have time to for self growth. If there are any questions, please feel free to just unmute and talk. Okay. If nothing else, there's one more point which I just remembered, which is like a Pomodoro technique. Not sure if you've heard about it, but it talks about like you are working for 20 to 25 minutes, and then you leave your desk and just leave out for maybe 10 minutes, just listening to some music or standing out in the balcony, taking some fresh air, talking to your colleague, just maybe that 5 to 10 minutes of break you taken, and then you come back and start your work. So rather than stretching yourself for 1 hour, 1.5 hour, and then after, certain point in time, you feel like a mess in your head, what's happening, and you reach, your brain efficiency is also reduced, not able to focus on your work. Better would be focus, like maybe you can just set up a timer of 20, 25 minutes, your entire energy into your work, that okay, you have these 25 minutes, try finishing up as much as you can. Instruction goes to your brain, and your brain works completely, dedicatedly there, not focusing on some WhatsApp messages or some, pings coming in on your phone, just focused on the work there. After that, you give yourself those 5 to 10 minutes, take a break, maybe check your WhatsApp, talk to your colleague, take a coffee break, whatever you feel like, and then just come back and set those 25 minutes of timer again. So this is also a very important technique which helps you focus on what you're doing, being mindful of, whatever, if there's some research work happening that pulls in a lot of your energy. So rather than, stretching it for 1 and 1.5 hours, 2 hours, and then feeling all exhausted, this Pomodoro technique is really helpful. Any questions or any better technique which you have used and you feel like it's helpful? Okay. If nobody wants to share, then let me continue. Boundaries and self-care. Okay, so this is something which we can start about, talking about it. But there's one important point. Uh, if you are at a person who's at a leadership level, leading an institute of say, suppose leading the management institute, so then being considerate about everyone else's time, empathizing with what they're going through, and also researching on the facts as to when, at what phase in life, uh, the person, male, female, has to, given some extra support. So for example, if I talk about an IT industry, there's a lot of attrition, especially women attrition at certain stages in their lives. So there could be, which is like, I'll divide it into three phases. The first is uh, when a girl gets married. That is something, the entire world has changed. Maybe her location has changed, house has changed, everything has changed. And that is the time which the research says that the women needs a lot of support during that time. So what we've done is we have programs running in. We make sure that they're getting enough leaves for the, that adjustment time. They are giving flexible work hours if they're not able to manage the house, and it takes some time, to adjust into a new environment completely. And if at that time your company or you as an organization or the leader of that organization is, not supporting, rather, pushing the employee even more, there are chances the person will, leave the organization. So helping them achieve that work life balance is also important. This could be the first phase. Second, that we have analyzed, we have researched and found out, is when a girl becomes, or a woman becomes, a mother. So that is again a very sensitive time, and the research says that, after maternity leave there are very little chances of women coming back. So that is why we have seen that there are very few women at the senior leadership level. So there was a target which our company had made for 2025, that this was kind of 5-year target, and we made sure that we have equal number of, like 50-50% of women and men in leadership by 2025, and we were successfully able to achieve this by 2024. So these are some ways how a company or an organization can help their employees also achieve work-life balance. The third major, point which was discovered was uh, the the age of the menopause. So that brings in a lot of hormonal disturbances. We have a complete team which is called as Meno Warriors, and they're there to support such employees. Rather than putting a pressure on them, they have a community inside. So this is a community which I'm talking about in my company, who's there to help support, understand yourself better, because your body is going through so many changes that you're not very sure of what is happening. And at the same time, they have senior leaders or, community members who have gone through that phase, and they can understand you better and tell you that, okay, this has happened with me, this is common, okay, so this is how you deal with it. So somebody having that connect having that experience is definitely helpful. So if you see people around you, and that is why I want to talk to the people at the leadership level. So if you see people around you, we should empathize with them. We know we've gone through a certain set of, different stages in our life, and somebody else might be having a similar phase. So rather than just bogging them with, okay, this is not done, this is not done, I think the first conversation that we start in each of our meetings, be it like a 25 minutes or a 15 minutes meeting also, we make sure we're asking our team members that, okay, how are you doing today? Are you feeling fine? How are your kids? How is everything at home? Are your parents doing well? If you know somebody is a caregiver, not married but have parents who need care, we make sure we ask them, okay, how are your parents doing this? So that makes them more connected. That is one way where this is one very useful trick, I would say, to help your employees feel connected, feel that bond, and like it is always said, the employee does not leave a company, they leave a boss. So we should all try to be that good boss in which we are like empathizing, trying somebody to help that, attain that work life balance, and be there with the organization for a longer period of time. So that is one important aspect which I would like to add. Again, boundaries and self care. Yes, we've already talked about it a bit. So, setting boundaries, protect personal time, and learn to say no when needed. This is something very important. And I think in the initial career days, it is difficult to learn to say no. Whatever comes to you, you have to, okay, 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 I'll do this. Okay, I'll take this up. Okay, I'll do that. But this will not go in a long run. You will have to learn to set that boundary that, okay, this is my role. I'm here to do this. But I understand that, okay, there are additional places where I can provide my help. So if I have some extra time, definitely yes. But if I feel like, okay, I'm already occupied, then politely you can just say, no, this will not be possible this time, maybe next time. Okay, so there's nothing wrong in saying no. And again, people at the leadership level should also respect that no and understand, that culture will come in only that ways. So understand that they're not trying to escape work or trying to, काम चोरी नहीं हो रही है. It's like somebody is already trying to set boundaries, and this is like a two-way process. So if I am as a leader wanting or accepting that no, again, the employee also has a responsibility to make sure that you're there when we need work. So it is not like we've not worked the entire night. There are days, there are nights which we have worked endlessly. There's a delivery, there's a project delivery that's happening, and something has gone wrong. There are issues, multiple issues coming up. The client is not happy. There are days when we've worked like 2, 3, 4 a.m. in the night. That happens. And then I would not say that, okay, there's no work life balance. There is, because the next day, if everything is settled, I'm allowed to leave early. So if I am as an employee giving 100% of mine, the leadership is also helping me support. So it is like a two-way process happening. Self care, so giving time for exercise, mindfulness, hobbies, some social connections, going, making some, visit some NGOs, spend some time with some animals, uh, do whatever you love to do, basically. Drawing, painting, sketching, doodling, whatever. But make sure you have some time, if not in a day, then maybe in a week, to spend that, 2 to 3 hours or whatever time you set in for yourself, that, okay, I need this time for myself, apart from using a phone, which is actually draining your energies. So I think if that is one, again, an internal special point now, because most of us are spending a lot of time on our phones, screens, very difficult, making us feel even more tired, although we feel like, okay, just scrolling is helping us, this is my time and I'm spending that time with myself. But then you're tiring and you're you know sucking in energy from your brain. So rather than spending time on your phone, you can spend time in other ways which are mentioned here. So you can go on for a walk, you can just, if you love gardening, spend time with the flowers. If you have a pet or you want to visit an animal NGO, go spend your day or maybe half a day there with the animals suffering there. Whatever you feel like doing, whatever, could be multiple things. If nothing, you can spend time with your kids, you can spend time with your family, have a small house party, whatever you feel like. But that is really, really important. Then detaching, avoiding checking emails after hours for better mental health. Like I said, so, just being on the WhatsApp for all the time, something missing, having that FOMO feeling, what the Gen Zs talk about it like these, having Instagram checks, LinkedIn checks. Is there some comment on my post? We can leave that for some time. You can just maybe just lock your phone, put it in a wardrobe, and just forget about it. So then you'll feel, if you have a detox day from your phone. I don't know if somebody has experienced it. You'll feel the day is so long. You can do so much of it in like just those 24 hours. So now things have changed, and I'm sure the younger generation will be facing a more difficult time, not having to manage all, because the time is getting a lot of time is getting wasted on the social media and being just online. So they will have to really work upon the work life balance. Okay, so these are some of the resources which the leadership or the institution can think of providing their employees, which could be like employee assistance program. This is something very common in the IT industries, and we have a cell which we call as a EAP cell, and they have a set of some psychologists, they have some doctors, which we are allowed to reach to them. We can just drop them an email, or there's a toll free number which we have. We can just give them a call, and they reach back to us. This is a completely free and confidential counseling sessions happening for the employees. So in case they feel struggling with any of the aspects of their life, they have those counselors to support them. We have mentors. Like I said, we have groups of communities like returning mothers. We have a community. Mino warriors. We have a community. So there are such small communities which are created, which could have people who are struggling through that phase and also experienced mentors. So they help you sail through that difficult phase. And if not, they direct you to this EAP cell. If the mentor feels like, okay, no, this is a little serious case, and we're not able to help this person, they will help you reach out to uh, EAP cell and help you get the mentor there. Faculty development workshops like we have in here. We can have longer workshops, maybe 2 to 3 days, where you get to assess yourself, introspect how you're doing with your life, how it is, what are the points which are making you feel anxious, things which you're not able to deal with comfortably. Sometimes you're not confident talking about certain things with a larger audience, but maybe when you are doing that in your workshop, you get a time to introspect and understand yourself, that okay, this is the point where I'm lagging, and maybe you get a solution in that workshop, that this is how I can improve upon it. Then the mentoring programs get guidance from the senior faculty on the work life integration. So maybe you can have small communities built in who can, I don't know if already you have them, uh, which can help, the senior faculty can help others to help, attain the work life balance. Okay, if there are any questions, please feel free to raise your hands. Okay. If no other questions, let's just proceed. So will not take a lot of time. Call to action: prioritize your well-being, take action, make some strategies, share them with your fellow colleagues. Okay, so if you are thinking of starting with a meditation class or a yoga class, make sure you take that action and talk about it with your colleagues. Don't think about कि अगर मैं नहीं कर पाई तो क्या होगा. But because when I talk about it, I have somebody to come and cross check that, okay, did you go to your yoga class today? So you have that check made, that okay, if today I didn't go, I know I'll try again tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow, day after tomorrow, I'll try. I'll keep trying, because there's somebody who's keeping a check on me. I have told this to the community, so there's again a check on me. And also, this could also help in another way, because if you say that you've started a yoga class, maybe somebody else who's also not able to uh, get time for themselves, they also get inspired and figure out some patch of time which they can invest in themselves, right? So commit to one actionable step towards better work-life balance. Share your strategies and challenge with your colleagues for support. Remember, in investing in your well-being benefits both you and your university or your college. And please remember, work is just a part of your life. It is not the whole life. Balance is not something you find, it's something that you create. So I hope this was helpful. And if there are any questions, please feel free to ask.
Great, ma'am. It's really a very informative and wonderful session. Dear audience, we have 30 seconds to just feel free to ask the question from Suti, ma'am. If anyone would like to ask, please raise your hand or write on a chat box. Thank you, Premji, for your comment as an excellent session.
Thank you. Thank you, Pragya ma'am, Prem sir. Thank you so much for your comments. If there are any questions, please reach out to me. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. I am there with my name, Stuti Arora Kapoor. So if anything needed, we can talk in there.
Great. So let's come to an end of this wonderful session. Yes, it's a Kamleshji, thank you so much. Naturally, it's a very fruitful session because work-life balance is very important in today's short life. And really, your points are commendable that you have just make us give us an input. And I really thankful to the director, Professor Dr. Raju Agarwal, sir, again for this 5 days FDP come workshop. And last but not the least, all the faculty members, all the participants, especially Suti Arora ma'am. Thank you for your time, for your briefing and inputs. So this is the third day. The link for the feedbacks and certificate, we will share you all the participants on the last day of FDP program, that is fifth day. And thank you. See you all tomorrow with another eminent speaker with among us. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Keep smiling and be healthy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.